Breaking news into SportsCenter. Ice Trae is on the move. Trae Young has been traded to the Wizards for C.J. McCollum. Corey Kispert, sources told ESPN. Young set out the Hawks game tonight against the Pelicans. During the game, he was dapping up friends, waving to fans. Four-time All-Star. Young has been the face of the franchise in his 7+ seasons in the ATL. We bring in Shams Charania for more on this. Huge news, though not entirely unexpected. So, Shams, what more can you tell us about how this move went down?
Ryan, the Wizards believe they're taking a low-risk swing at a player that's shown prowess throughout the NBA. They believe that Trae Young can be the anchor for this young, burgeoning, talented team in the nation's capital. And we've seen the Wizards have been in a rebuild over the last few years, but now they're going to have Trae Young as a young star, as now the face of their young rebuild. And they're also going to have $46 million in cap space in the summer to add to talent around Trae Young. And so how did this even get to this point where Trae Young is on the move and wanting to go to a place like the Wizards? He is extension eligible, and so securing where that future stands became paramount for him, especially after the offseason when the Atlanta Hawks declined to offer an extension. So he will have a $49 million player option in the offseason. We'll see what happens there for an extension, but he will state his case for a long-term future now with the Wizards.
Washington was looking for that big name to bring in with that young team. Now they got Trae. So it's a big chip move for the Hawks. Is Atlanta gearing up for another move?
Ryan, this trade now sets up the Hawks with additional financial flexibility to go out and swing for a high-priced, big salary player, potentially, namely, Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis. The Hawks will pursue Davis the second half of the season ahead of the February trade deadline. The Mavericks will talk to several teams, but the Hawks have been at the forefront of interested parties, along with the Toronto Raptors, for the perennial all-star big man. But in the immediate future, the Hawks are turning their core over to Jalen Johnson and other players such as Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels. And they believe C.J. McCollum also fits as a plug-and-play player, a floor spacer, and then you also have Corey Kispert as a sharpshooter on the wing.
They got a lot of pieces there in Atlanta. We'll see if they can build on that, maybe add an AD, someone like that. Atlanta could be on the move. All right, Shams, at the very latest on Trae Young, no longer a Hawk, now a Wizard. Thanks, Shams.
All right, now this was the team that Big Perk saw as a phenomenal fit for the four-time All-Star Trae Young. He joins us now on SportsCenter. So outside of I told y'all, Perk, what's your reaction to the move?
Hey, look, listen. Let me say this. Trae Young jersey is going to be in the Raptors when you think about what he has done in Atlanta. We're talking about a guy over his career that averaged 25 and 11. Now, with that being said, the Hawks made the right move. They got a young up-and-coming star in Jalen Johnson, who is now their franchise player, who's going to be the face of their franchise for a long time. But make no mistake about it, Trae Young in the Washington Wizards uniform, scratching the surface of his prime, he's going to do wonders. He's going to put butts in seats. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to have the keys to the vehicle, and he's going to make people around him better. And if I'm Trae Young, I actually walk into Washington with a chip on my shoulder. The simple fact that Washington got him without having to give up any draft picks, I would take that as a sign of disrespect. I think Trae Young is going to go out there and do well. I can't wait to see him, and I also can't wait to see the new-look Hawks when you talk about Jalen Johnson leading the charge.
No question. I covered the Hawks for about 4 years down there in Atlanta, and every night that Trae Young suited up, you could guarantee it was an event. Thankful for his time down there. Perk, thankful for you, but don't go nowhere. Got to holler at you about some actual hoops here in just a moment. But more on Trae Young. There's no doubt that Trae is one of the best creators the league has ever seen. He scored or assisted on over 48 points per game in his career. That's the second highest average in NBA history, behind, of course, Luka Doncic, who he was traded with on draft night. Young's first game against his former squad will be in Atlanta on February 24th.
Of the changing NBA. And I think we're going to see more deals like this. But Washington believes that Trae Young can be a player that they can build around going forward, and they were willing to, bank a lot on him to do so.
I just want to apologize to our viewers for the audio issues that we're having. Shams Charania is ready, so I'd like to bring him back in now. Shams, are you there? Let's see. One more time. We're working on it with Shams. Shams, what more can you tell us about how this deal came together here for Trae Young?
This deal came together. Trae Young wanted to be a Washington Wizard, and the Wizards believe that this is the next step for them in their development process. Obviously, this is a team that's been in a rebuild the last few years, but bringing in Trae Young with this young group, Michael Winger, Will Dawkins, the Wizards' two top executives, they feel strongly that bringing Trae Young in will allow this team to continue to make strides. And Trae Young has relationships across this organization with Will Dawkins, who was one of the key members of the Oklahoma City Thunder front office when Trae Young was a star player growing up in Oklahoma. Travis Schlenk, an executive in D.C., he actually drafted Trae Young in 2018 with the number 5 overall pick. And so Trae Young is now the face of the Wizards movement. He's going to be their lead guard, their point guard moving forward. He's going to anchor their young talent and the next regime this Wizards team has. And the flip side for the Hawks is they're turning the page on the Trae Young era. 7+ seasons Trae Young spent in Atlanta as the face of that organization. But they've clearly turned the page with Jalen Johnson moving forward. And this is a group that's starting to play more toward their depth, their wings, and they believe CJ McCollum as a shooter is going to be the perfect veteran player as a plug-and-play starter, reserve player for Quinn Snyder. But the biggest thing, Malika, is also this has a major impact on the upcoming trade market, specifically with Anthony Davis. He is a prime trade target of the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks believe that making this Trae Young deal allows them to pursue a player with a large, significant salary like an Anthony Davis over the next several months.
So one chapter ends and another begins for Trae Young, now with the Washington Wizards and with the Atlanta Hawks moving on with this new young nucleus. Shams, thank you so very much for your reporting and for your insight there. Perk, real quick, your thoughts on this trade?
Well, I actually love it for the Hawks because Jalen Johnson is a young superstar in the making. He's almost averaging a 20-point triple-double on the season. For Trae Young, he get a fresh start. And he goes to a situation where he's going to continue to put up numbers. He's going to continue to, he's going to put butts in seats because he's exciting to watch. I don't know too much about competing for a championship, but he damn sure go get his lettuce over there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great pickup for Washington. Jalen Johnson does become the face of that franchise. But I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker, how well he played for Atlanta, made Quinn Snyder and the powers that be in Atlanta say, you know what, we can move Trae Young and give ourselves a chance. C.J. McCollum, very happy for him. Class act. Have a chance to go and play for something competitive.
Well, Trae Young on his way, the end of an era after 8 years with Atlanta, to be with the Washington Wizards. The news never stops, but neither do the games. The Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. That's coming up next. We will see you at halftime.